If a song has ever gotten stuck in your head, maybe the notes, maybe the words, even the chords changing, the drum set hitting on that snare, you already play by ear. You've actually been doing the hardest part of this skill since before you could talk. And today I want to show you what that means, why it might be the most important thing you can do as an adult who plays an instrument or sings. If we haven't met yet, I'm EP Archer, and this is Music Rebels Rising, a place for adults who play an instrument to develop tone, confidence, and connection. In a study of 5 performance skills, improvising, sight reading, playing from memory, playing rehearsed music, and playing by ear was the only one that contributed to all 4 others. If you want to up-level your playing, if you want to up-level what you can hear, how you use it, what it means to your ear, it's actually really simple, but it is a huge impact. We talk about moving the needle. What is the thing I can do in the least amount of time that will give me the most result? Playing by ear. So I know there's a couple different groups of you listening right now. There's a group of people who are like, yeah, of course, I only play by ear. I'm not using that sheet music. Okay, once in a while I look at a tab, but ear playing is the way to go. That's what I do. I only play by ear. And there's the people who have never played by ear, have thought about it and maybe think, oh, what if I can't hear? What if I fail? Or that isn't for me. I can't hear it. I can't sing. We've got some limiting beliefs. So we've got one side of the fence where all we're doing is learning by ear. Maybe you're a fiddle player or a guitar player, and maybe that's just how you were brought up in that style and tradition. And we have people that have been classically trained or that have taken lessons or that have always used someone demonstrating to them or someone showing them or a piece of sheet music or tablature in order to get from A to B. And I want to tell you, all of those roads are valuable. You need all of them. It's not like we're going to trade one for the other. We're going to build on your skill set so that in any given musical situation, you have a toolbox you can use. If you've only been playing by ear, you're not less than players that use sheet music and have been studying at a university. And if you've been studying at a university or you've been playing from sheet music, you're not less than the people that play by ear. What we want is an integration and a convergence of these skills. And my friends, they are just skills. They can be honed and developed. It's not a gift or a talent that you're born with. It's something that you get to develop, and it's something you've been doing since you were just a wee child. Before you could read words, you could recognize the sound of a parent's voice. Before you could read music, you could hum. You could sing along. You could hear things happening in your head that were words and music and all kinds of things that were dancing around up there. So the rebel angle is that traditional music education teaches reading first, which is not how we learn language. Think about it. The way that we learn language is we hear it first, and then we sort of hear it in our head, and then we try to emulate it by speaking. And what that translates into music is listening first. And then what is it that I heard? That door. And then you point at the door. Door? Is this a door? And your parents are like, yeah, door, right? And with music, we hear something and we're like, oh, was that a G? Was that a G chord? Was that a first finger? What was that in this position? We hear it. We kind of try to figure out what it was. And then we're like, G chord? And we play it and we get feedback instantly. So we're hearing, and then we are finding a way to sing it, to audiate it, to hear it in our head. And then we find it on our instrument. And that's how language is learned. That's how we're able to internalize a mile deep instead of trying to do so many things a mile wide, only at a surface level, which as an adult, it doesn't feed your soul to do a lot of things surfacey. It does feed your soul to go deep with something and to really have it. And when you play by ear, you know what happens? You get to memorize the music, be inside of the music, live inside of the music as you learn it. And once you've learned it, it's there. When you learn from a demonstration, back and forth, by rote, by sheet music, tablature, all of those things, what happens is it's only retained when that same signal or trigger is activated again. And you have to do that so many times to not have it. And tell me if I'm wrong here, but if you learn by sheet music, you might still be seeing that sheet music in your ear. If you learned by fingering, you might be still saying that fingering out loud in your head, or hearing it or seeing it as you play. It doesn't go away because that's how it was ingrained. When you learn by ear, you have all of these other faculties available to you, and it becomes memorized as we learn it, and that is a gift. So does it take longer? Yes. Do you need to create some space for yourself to be able to work with this and be gentle and kind and figure out what your mode is? Absolutely. Is it worth it? 1,000%. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this in just 5 minutes. This is our ear playing challenge. I'm so excited to bring it to you because I don't want to just talk at you or with you. I want us to get down and dirty, pick up our instruments, and play something together. So here's what you're going to do. Pick a song you love. No instrument in your hands, just listening. And I want you to listen to that a minimum of 3 times. And ideally, if you're commuting to work, you listen to it every day as you commute. You play that same song over and over. You want to get it stuck in your head so that it's rattling around. It comes up when you're not thinking about it. That's usually the key. If you can recall it when you weren't thinking about it, or it just pops in there while you're cooking dinner, that's great. But a minimum of 3 times. And then as you're listening, instead of just jamming along with it, singing along with it, whatever your modus operandus is, I want you to do some specific listening. First, listen to the melody. Maybe there's a vocalist, maybe there's a main instrumental line, but we're listening to that, we're humming along with it. We're kind of just thinking, hey, where are the notes the same? Where do they go up? Where do they go down? Very general, but we are specifically listening for that melody. If you know your instrument really well, let's say you're listening to something on the violin and you play the violin, do you hear which string it is on? Do you hear if they're using vibrato or if they shifted? If you're playing guitar, can you tell if this is in a certain position or using a certain box or a caged form that you know? If you are a vocalist, when you're hearing this, can you tell which register the person is singing in? Are they using their chest voice? Are they belting? Is it a mix or is it a beautiful falsetto floating above? Those indications actually are going to help you to replicate it, even if you're not a singer. The second time you listen, you're going to listen to the chord changes. And so I know some of you are going to say, I don't know chord changes. I can't hear them. I don't know what's happening. I will challenge you to say you can hear when something is the same or something is different. And that's the first step. So when I listen to chord changes, I'm going to say, is it that same background? Is it that same sonic experience? Is it the same harmony? Da 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 da, right? It's going to change at some point. Some songs change rather frequently. Dun da bun da dun da 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 da, like right on every couple beats, like jazz music or swing or bebop. And some are extended. You might have that same chord for the whole verse or for 4 bars or 8 bars. But you're going to hear a point where something shifts. And when it shifts, the bass will shift, the chording instrument will shift, and usually the melody shifts right along with it. So we're listening for where things change. Maybe you don't know that it's a 1 to a 4 to a 2 to a 5, or you don't know it's a G to a C, right? But you know that it's changing. That's it. And you can start listening. Is it going up or is it going down? Is it changing rapidly, or how long does that change last? And finally, on the third listen, you're going to get this rhythm, this internal beat, this pulse, this groove. What's happening with the groove? Is it a 4 count or a 3 count or a 6 count? Get into the groove and move your body and kind of internalize that. The really cool thing about internalizing rhythmic parts of a song is that once you do that, it's easier to slow it down in your head. And usually we have to do that. Unless you're listening to a song that's super slow, you're going to need to slow it down. And when you get into that groove, when you dance to the music, when it's in your body, when you can replicate it, or maybe da 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 da. Maybe it's the strum pattern, right? Maybe it's the cool hits, ba ba, da, da, da. But get that internalized, sing it if you feel comfortable, but get it in your body, because once I can sing da, 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 I can slow it down. Da, 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 da. And our cool recording device that lives in our brain can slow down and speed up once it's internalized to use it however you like. If you're somebody like me, maybe you're already using technology to help with this. So if you've fallen out of doing this manually with your own body, ears, mind, and soul, then don't use any devices, technology to do this part. Just use yourself and listen. This is the first step of playing by ear. It's your first day in the Playing by Ear challenge. I am so pumped for you because this is going to be fun, and this is going to be a journey, and you're going to take a little bit of a risk, and let's have fun with it. If you're an experienced ear player, challenge yourself to do something a little bit harder than usual. If you've never done this, just challenge yourself to do something quite slow with just a few notes. But let's do this together, because the gap isn't your hearing. The gap is that you're not sure what to do with what you're hearing. And we're going to move through that with confidence. You don't need a specific talented ear for music or some sort of off the charts IQ. You have an ear for music. You sing, you play an instrument. It's inside you, everything you need. And this whole challenge is going to walk you through what to do it just one small piece at a time. So today, pick your piece, get to listening. And if you want to actually try this and be in a community of people who are doing the Play by Ear challenge, it's live right now inside of our Violin Unlocked group. Free 7-day trial. That's all the time you need to work through this, get support, make some new friends. So come see us at violinunlocked.com. And everyone else, I can't wait to hear how you're doing with this. Comment, like, share, let us know what you want to see next. And I'll see you tomorrow for the next part of the ear challenge.